Thank you, Julie. Do we have any single moms in the audience today? You do know there's a special place in heaven for you, don't you? Don't you? Thank you. Barry, where are you? Oh. When I write in the morning, and I just finished the book, Today I Begin a New Life, the PDF of the final document, minus the contents, table of contents, and my tribute to Kevin and my sweetheart Ramona, are out there. They're free for you. Just take one. I'd love to have you read it. It'll be out in about a month. But we're hoping to get it finished in time for this, but just take it home and enjoy it. It's all laid out just like a book. Just have some fun with it. Writing, 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the morning for 4 years. And what I searched for was music that would move my soul. Did that music not move your soul? I always know because it opens up heaven for me. May I share with you what I just wrote? My greatest joy comes when I sit toe to toe, heart to heart, with someone searching to know the truth about how to create success. Someone who is ready to give up the pursuit of ease and who is ready to engage in life, embrace principles, who wants to connect with and serve others, who wants to create value in all that they do, and who wants to contribute to the world. Then I'm in my mission, which is to heal torn bodies and torn minds. We have nice things. My sweetheart Ramona, the mother of our 7 children and 21 grandchildren, 36 years of living my dream. Things are great. What's great? It's when moments like these, spent together connecting with Ramona here by my side. May I serve you. I'm going to take you to the moment that those words which Julie quoted to us came to me. I was in Chicago. I was going to be speaking the next morning. And just like at 4:30 this morning, I was reflecting on each one of you. What could I create? How could I create that? How would that serve? And I fell asleep. And I had a very, very vivid dream. In this dream, I found myself walking on a path. And if you can envision this, I had a large white sack over my right shoulder. It's dragging on the ground. And it weighs about 200 pounds. And it's taking all the energy I've got just to drag it. Anybody have one of these sacks? Yeah. We brought them here today, didn't we? We want to get rid of them. We want to move forward, but we still have this sack. And I was dragging. I was exhausted. And I saw a man walking toward me. And he got right up here. And I heard this very piercing but tender voice say, "Let go of the sack." So I let it go. Can you feel it? To let go of your sack? But I had just let go of it, and that same voice said, "Turn around and face your sack." There's a reason why we drag our sacks behind us, because we don't want to see them. I knew what was in that sack. It was all of my failures, all of my disappointments, everything that had been done to me, anything I'd ever done to hurt another person. That sack. Turn around and face the sack. So I did. Empty the sack. I emptied it. Piled in front of me were these silver orbs about 5 inches in diameter with these really sharp spikes on them. I'm looking at this pile, and this voice said, "Pick up the most painful." You going to join me? Do this for yourself while I do it for me. I knew which one it was. Do you know? Do you know which one it is? I knew. I picked it up, and I held it in my trembling hands. It happened in Chicago. I'm there to speak the next day, 50 years earlier in Chicago. My father is going to school during the day and working most of the night. My mother is a long ways away from the farm she grew up in Amalga, Utah. She's a young mom, just 2 little children, riding a train, going into a high-rise. This is a strange place, very stressful. And in the middle of all of this, there was a couple who said they could not have children, who said they wanted to help my parents. So they arranged for all these wonderful times for us to spend together. Santa Claus came at Christmas time to our little studio apartment with its Murphy bed and the popcorn popper that we prepared our meals with. I was so young, I wasn't preparing them. Challenge. They were pedophiles. And I'm remembering all the loneliness and the ache, the confusion, the guilt, the shame. And this voice said, a question that changed my life. David, is anyone else suffering from a similar wound? I said, of course. Then take this experience, press it against your chest, and engrave it on your heart. I was a little scared. Those were pointy spikes. But it slid right into my heart, effortlessly. There was no guilt or shame. I felt a sense of ownership, a sense of wholeness, almost joy. Then I was asked to pick up the next. 4:30 this morning, I spoke what the next one was. Out of privacies for tender people, I'll just be brief. I was a teenager. Be careful. You got great advice from Chad yesterday. Be careful. You can make mistakes that can hurt people. Decisions that can last a lifetime. Picked it up. David, is anyone else suffering from a similar wound? Yes, of course. Then engrave it on your heart. The guilt is gone. Guilt is when we feel bad about what we do. The shame was gone. That's when we feel bad about who we are. Put this into your heart. Next one. It happened a few years ago, 1988-89. This is the 21-year anniversary this week. We lost millions of dollars in the collapse of the real estate market. Had $1 million in debt to pay back. It took 10 years to do that. Priceless experiences. In the darkest of those dark nights, I walked to the edge. And if I hadn't have flinched, the $1 million life insurance policy that would lapse in a week was going to be the solution to the family's challenges. Can you imagine what I would have missed and they would have missed? That $1 million would be gone, and all of those nightmares would still be there. Engrave this on your heart. Anyone else suffering from a similar wound? When I finished, there was nothing left here. My heart had swelled. I felt whole and complete, real and genuine and authentic. No more impressing or pretending, no more shame or fear. Complete. Joyful. I thought this was what it was all about. Then I was asked to turn around, and that's when I saw it. He was dragging a sack. I couldn't see his till I owned mine. All of my energy was here instead of here. I could hear differently. I could ask questions I'd never thought to ask before. And I saw this man go, oh, someone finally understands me. That was the gift. And his cooperation and productivity poured out to me. And I received a gift. You see, when I finished engraving that last orb on my heart, the voice said to me, speak this to yourself, first person. David, your character has been forged in the furnace of adversity. You know what pain feels like. You can't take it back. It's happened. But should you choose to use it to better understand what someone else is struggling with and serve them, there can finally be purpose in that suffering. There can be joy in your journey as you see people have this moment of their own, and as a result, much needed healing in your own soul, and I got to experience that. Well, this morning I was reflecting on an experience that occurred just 2 years ago. Not all are this dramatic, but I share this one with you so that you can know that your single greatest asset is what's in your sack, but not while it stays there. Is anyone else suffering from a similar wound? Can you feel the shift from why do I feel so crappy to I wonder what they are feeling? And now I'm paying attention, I'm interested, I'm listening. Can you feel it? If there's anyone I can serve. Because of this now here, put them on my path and I'll serve them. 2 years ago, I had the impression to call someone I had not talked to for 1.5 years. Waited late in the afternoon, had a very busy coaching schedule that day. I felt I would need more time than 10 minutes. When I had the chance, I called. How are you doing? Oh, I'm great! You'll trust your intuition. I said, then why has your name been on my mind all day? You could start to feel the tumblers turning. And finally the door unlocked. He said, do you really want to know? I said, I'm here to serve you. And he began to describe a story that was so horrific. Financially, I understood that equation, and I knew what edge it took me to, and his was beyond that. Just listened. Are you there, Dave? I'm just listening. And when he finished, I knew why I had been inspired to call him. Because I knew this place, it was right here. I could see him through this clearly, and a question just floated to the surface. You see, when we practice love, which the Greeks called agape, a heightened level of awareness, seeing people without judgment, unconditionally, the way a God would see them. And now one step further, Genshai. I had the privilege of hearing that word just weeks after Kevin had that trip on the phone with Dan McCormick. Oh, we had time, I'd tell that story. We'll do that on another day. But I got to hear the story. Somebody said, is that story true? I heard it then. It's true. It hasn't changed. Genshai, I'll greet this day with Genshai. For this is the greatest secret of success in all ventures. Muscle can split a shield and even destroy life, but only the unseen power of love can open the hearts of men. And until I master this art, I'm no more than a peddler in the marketplace. I will make love, agape love, Genshai, my greatest weapon, and none on whom I call can defend against its force. What question boiled to the surface? How seriously are you considering suicide? First thing I said after I said I'm here to serve. First words. And he began to cry. It's all I've been thinking about. Not to belabor it, but the plan was to do it that night. Abundance is not something that we seek to receive. It's not something that we seek to win. It is a sacred process in which we actively participate and eventually become. May you have the courage to make one of the most dramatic shifts required for success. It is from here, focused on how painful that is, to, is there anyone else suffering from a similar wound? The answer is always yes. Then let me own it. I'll let go of the shame and the guilt, the resentment, the anger, and I will use it as a filter to better understand what another person is experiencing. And when I have, there'll be purpose in my suffering. Your single greatest asset. There'll be joy in my journey and much needed healing in my soul. May you find that joy, would be my hope. It's such a privilege to be with you, and thank you.